When I went in for my initial audition, I decided to go in full drag, like full-on dude with a mustache, and I knew he was a roadie, so I was like, okay, well, how can I do that? I knew it was rock and roll, and I didn't want a piano to accompany me. I wanted a guitar, and so I asked my guitarist to come in and play electric guitar, and I brought an amplifier with me into the room, which is something that no one would dare do. And so when they called my name, I had my guitarist go in first with his guitar on, and then I came in behind him with the amplifier and like the cord, like a roadie. I set the amplifier down, I plugged it in, I plugged him in, I tuned him up. And then I said, "Hi, I'm Lena Hall. I'll be singing Kiss Me Deadly," which is the lead fourth song. And so I did it with a guitarist, and they were like, "What?" And so they called me back, and I did all the stuff from the show. And basically for my final callback, John Cameron Mitchell had me. He was like, "I want you to come in, and I want you to be Yitzhak the entire time. So once you enter the room to when you leave the room, you are Yitzhak. We're going to ask you questions. You have to answer in character. We want you to tell a story. You're going to do an improv scene with John. You have to do it all in character." I was like, okay, great. So I was like, how can I make it, why would Yitzhak go into an audition room to audition for these people? Why would he be in there? He's not auditioning for Hedwig. He can't be, because that's his reality, so that wouldn't make any sense. So I was like, well, why is he in there? So what I decided to do was I wrote a 2.5-minute monologue about my backstory, which was that I grew up in northern Croatia in a small town that was like a boom town, because it was a yak hair farm town that was the sole producer of the yak hair for the Broadway musical Cats.
Which I want to pause and just say, Cats was Lena's Broadway debut.
Cats was my Broadway debut, so I knew a lot about the yak hair in Cats.
Does Cats, did it actually use yak hair?
Yes, they use yak hair in the wigs.
That's amazing.
That's truth. And so I was like, well, what do I know? And so, so it was, a communist town that supplied the yak hair for Cats. And then to celebrate, we do a government-funded production of Vladimir Lenin's Cats, where at the end, this is, in my town, and at the end, instead of one cat going to the Heaviside Lair, all the cats shed their belongings and went up together. Anyway, so to make a long story short, which is too late, my mother burned and died, and all my belongings, it all went up in flames in a yak hair fire, and the only thing left over was a Rent cassette tape that I felt was my mother's way of telling me to go to the United States and make your dreams come true and be on Broadway and be in Rent.
This is all in character as Yitzhak.
This is all in character as
not
Yitzhak.
Your actual history.
This is not my actual history. And then Yitzhak finally gets to America, and he goes to where Rent is supposed to be, and it's Newsies, and he's devastated because Rent is closed. And so the whole reason why I went in for that audition in the first place was because I was starting a Kickstarter campaign to bring Rent back to Broadway so I could star as Angel in Rent. And so after I did that 2.5-minute monologue, I then opened my computer and I pressed play, and there was a 2-minute Kickstarter campaign video that was had all the Rent music in the background, and it was I had a candlelight vigil for my family in front of the Winter Garden Theater, and with a yak hair wreath. It just a silly thing.